actually across multiple religious and unreligious traditions. And I think where I think the problem lies, not so much that we aren't anymore what the university used to be, namely Harvard at the beginning, assuming a certain Christian convictions and then simply elaborating those Christian convictions internally and outwardly. I don't think there is a return to this. I'm not sure that the return to this is even desirable, if it were possible. I don't think it is. I take, say, Yale to be a pluralistic institution, and I think conversation needs to happen. It's not so much nurturing piety, but nurturing a critical reflection around the issues of which piety is a certain way of piety is a certain way of approaching these issues and can generate critical reflection of its own. But piety itself, I don't think I would advocate being particularly nurtured or in the university, or at least the universities conceiving themselves as places where it is spread out.
And I think there's a lot of confusion that surrounds religion departments. As Andrew noted, I'm chair of the religion department. Although I think that's changing as well. And people in religion departments are very concerned about the academic or scholarly approach to the study of religion and all of its ramifications and implications. And I think there's a popular misconception by a lot of people that we're in some sort of catechetical business or something that people think we're actually up to. But that's not what a religion department should be doing. Now, can we talk about big issues? Absolutely. Some of you know my wife, the lovely and talented Randall, and her courses regularly dive into these issues and become very, very popular here at Dartmouth, precisely because she's willing to do that, and her courses lend themselves to that sort of conversation, that sort of discussion. So yes, I agree, we should be engaging in those big issues, make students want to engage in those big issues. But again, I go back to my argument about the centrality of that sort of position of the college university.
Yeah. So to push a little more concrete, it sounds like you're going to bring it to this larger level, normally reflecting ball in the university. I've heard from some professors before that one of the challenges here is pedagogical. In terms of how do you kind of go about teaching these kind of reflective practices, or maybe not practicing the student out of the term, teaching students to reflect and have meaningful conversations about those big questions, while maintaining academic rigor on the one hand and the other.
Well, so I don't know whether the issue is maintaining academic rigor so much. I think the issue is maintaining certain self-perception of what academically rigorous engagement and discipline-specific kind of academically rigorous engagement is. And I think I buy into Kronman's analysis, who said that where humanities went wrong is when they conceived of themselves on the model of hard sciences and sought to approximate hard sciences so that the goal of humanities was somehow incremental growth of knowledge and of truth in that sense of the term. So you have this variety of distancing studies of phenomena from the past, seeking to understand those with particular methodology. The result was distancing of the subject matter of humanities, keeping it in the past. I think it's particularly deleterious for philosophy and particularly difficult for theology. I mean, I teach in a divinity school, and we have had these kinds of pressures in divinity schools all the time between folks who want to study the religious phenomena as historical phenomena in whatever form, and folks who think that above and beyond studying them in this form, which I would never deny, of course, I think it's very important, it's study, but above and beyond, engaging in these, in the claims of these texts as if they have a claim upon our lives. They make truth claims, and those truth claims are truth claims about human lives, including our lives, and therefore engaging in this type of conversation, I don't think that's any less academically rigorous. Why would philosophical reflection about the meaning of, and possible meaning of Spinoza for my own life, or Nietzsche for my own or our own lives, be any less academically rigorous than studying in multiplicity of disciplinary ways religious phenomena from the past? I think, now this will be a very bold claim, and I'm going to be crucified for this. I think theologians in particular, or religious studies department dealing with so Christian faith, others' faith as well, it's particularly problematic. You know, if I study Old Testament texts simply as artifacts from the past, I mean, it's studying exotic plants if you think about it, right? It's a small, insignificant corner of not particularly high-end literature of that time, right? If it doesn't have a claim, existential claim, and kind of historical impact as existential claim upon our lives today, you know, it's an interesting thing, right? But it's a really marginal type of a study, and then you have to think about how much resources you want to devote to study this. So once you turn it and you say, well, I need to study what kind of claims these texts make upon me, and what their impact might be, reconstruction of their claims for us today, it becomes equally academically rigorous. Indeed, I would argue even more academically rigorous, and I think it becomes more productive. But that's now a theologian speaking, not a historian.
There's often I think, assumption that is often is caricatures, but that in the life of the mind, there's sort of this war going on in some way, shape, or form between faith and intellectual inquiry. You might just call it reason, but sort of rigorous sort of analysis of the world and then belief in God. Can you talk maybe personally about how you come to see these elements working together, if you think they do, and
Sure.
how does it work in your life?
Sure. I am a historian. I'm not a theologian, and I don't apologize for that, by the way.
No, you shouldn't. I embrace it, so I think we would be in terrible plight if they weren't for you folks. They're a cool thing.
And so my faith certainly informs the way I go about my work. Probably, well, I'll recount something quickly.
Yeah,
Quick story. When I was coming out of graduate school in the mid-1980s, which is ancient history for most of you folks, I know. I was on the job market for 2 years, in the course of which I applied for 55 jobs and fellowships. And out of that, I got 2 interviews. One of them was at Calvin College, a place I much admire, and then and now. And I got this question: how do I, as a historian, how does my faith integrate with my craft as a historian? I said something like, well, it seems to me that as I approach what I do, I do so with integrity. It means I treat sources with integrity. I don't try to quote them out of context. I try to be as conscientious. Apparently that was the wrong answer because I didn't get the job offer. But I guess I don't have a better answer for that. Faith is important to me. It's important for me as a professor in how I do my scholarship, but also how I deal with students and colleagues and so forth. As for what I study, does it affect what I study? Yeah, it probably does. In fact, I know it does, and it has over the course of my career. But the larger question about how a person of faith can function within a university or college, I think is very, very interesting. Universities and colleges are, the reason I say colleges, because Dartmouth is a college, not a university, but let's just say university, they're founded according to the canons of Enlightenment rationalism. That's what they do these days, or for the last several centuries. But I made a conscious decision early in my career that I would never allow the canons of Enlightenment rationalism be the final arbiter of truth. I elect to live in an enchanted universe where there are forces at play that I can't begin to understand, much less explain, that don't yield to Enlightenment-style rationalistic inquiry. I wouldn't live anywhere else. And I think I function reasonably well within this universe, this Enlightenment context. I make no apologies about that. But that does not mean that I set aside my faith. And it does not mean that I allow the canons of the institution to be, for me, as I say, the final arbiter.
Can I just follow an enchantment?